welcome back. I've been taking a little break from YouTube. I mean, it's the Christmas season and New Year's and all of that, so I knew I had to take a little break. I had filmed things, but then they just didn't come to fruition, so that's how it sometimes works. And I definitely want to share my goals for 2026 because, as you know, I love goal setting, but I hadn't time to talk about how 2025 went goals wise, but also like in life in general. And I thought I'd kind of do that today. My word for the year 2025 was onward. And I think it definitely was an anchor for me because every time I thought like, oh, now I figured this out. Now this is getting better. I got the next thing, and it would have been so easy to give up. And I had friends telling me that as well. They said like, I don't understand how you manage it because I would have given up at this point. And that's just not really my philosophy in a way. I think in all crises or bad moments, there's something to learn and to grow from. And I would say I've grown a lot in this year. And all kind of was overshadowed by my injuries. I got injured for the first time at the end of May, I think, and then the second time in the beginning of July. And since then, I was injured with a knee injury called Heisann syndrome. It's the fat pad in the knee that is inflamed. I just twisted my knee and that was it. And then because of walking with the crutches, I also got a tennis elbow in addition. And I have to admit, at the moment, I'm also nursing a shoulder injury. So this has been extremely difficult because all these injuries take quite a long time to heal. And I found out that I'm hypermobile, where usually the healing times are even longer. For Heisann syndrome, they said it was like 3 to 6 months. We are now in the 7th month. I would say I can live quite well without my knee brace. It's going well. I have started working out again, but I wouldn't say it's 100% healed. So it is a long process. You have to have patience. And one thing I found out with hypermobility is that I get injured very easily, and these injuries don't hurt a lot. Like, for example, my shoulder doesn't hurt much. Like, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's maybe a 2. But if I don't be very careful with it, I will just have it for a very long time. And that's kind of like something I have learned, that as soon there is something, I reduce a lot of like movement. I go to my GP, even if I have to go there every week. It's not like that bad, but I had to learn that I have to take measurements right away when I get something and not waiting for too long, because I'm like, oh, it doesn't hurt that much. And that is something that I've learned. And I also had to spend a lot of time at home the whole summer, fall, and also most of the Christmas season. I was just at home. In the past weeks of the end of 2025, I was definitely more social, and thankfully it went quite well. Sometimes I had problems with the knee and then I had to take it slower, but that was very different because I'm so used to meet friends and being outside and doing things and going hiking and all of that, and spending most of the time at home felt in the beginning quite lonely, especially when I was on crutches and didn't put any weight on my leg. That was really challenging. I cried every evening because I was so exhausted. It's like a full body workout walking on crutches. You get very strong in your arms though. And yeah, it was definitely also hard because you definitely see who's there for you when you are not able to deliver. Like, I had friends who checked in once and or said like, oh, I'm coming, and they just never stopped by. And I have friends I haven't heard from since August, and that was really sad. It's sad to see when you need people the most that there are people who are not there for you, and that is a thing that you need to grieve, and I definitely did. And I also feel so grateful for the people who were there for me. I talked often to my grandma, and like she would ask me every week, how's your knee? And that really helped to get through the harder weeks. And there was something over time where I really felt at peace with how it is right now. I felt grateful for the help I could get. I asked for help. That was something I also had to learn. I remember my friend Rachel cleaned here, and like she cleaned my washing machine, and there was so much shame that I felt around that I was lying on the sofa not being able to do anything and she was cleaning for me. That was hard, and I'm so grateful for her. And yeah, it was really good for me to learn to kind of disconnect, that I have to do something to be valuable and loved. And because I disconnected that, certain people fell away. And it's really sad when you are already injured and alone, when you then also have to let people go, or well, they just don't reach out. So that's just how it is in that moment. And I had decided that I'm not gonna fight that. You either want to be a part of my life or you don't. And I'm not gonna fight for somebody to be here and to wanting to meet me. Like I offer, hey, do you wanna come by? And if they don't, then I'm gonna respect that. And I thankfully made also some new friends and people who kind of like came where I never thought that they would, and that is also lovely to see. I have strengthened several relationships with my neighbors, and I camped in my neighbor's garden, for example, in summer, and that was a lovely thing that to do. And when it comes to goals, I obviously didn't complete several of them, and that was mostly because of my injuries that it wasn't possible. I struggled a lot with, like, I had lost weight until the summer, until I had the injury, and then it kind of crept back. So I was almost at the same weight as I started. So that felt quite frustrating, but I understand where it's coming from. And now that I'm moving more and feeling much better, I'm pretty sure it will kind of like go down again. But I also read like 54 books this year. I think I filmed around 40 videos for YouTube, even though there were a lot of at home. I also had a goal of like having all of these mementos and entrance cards from museums and all of these things that I wanted to put in my planners, because that's kind of like my memory keeping system. And I hadn't done that for several years, so I had like 300 of them, and I managed to put them all in my planners. And now I'm also back in a routine where I really enjoy printing out little photos, using like washi tape and stickers to make my planner pretty and plan the week. And even though maybe for a long time there wasn't so much happening for the week, but I still found the joy again in just being creative and generating happiness and joy for the next week. And I can see that this is super helpful for me, especially in weeks where it's a bit tougher. And also by having these pictures in it, there's like it's so nice to look back and see, oh, the week maybe was hard, but here the cat visited me, my neighbor's cat, for example, or yeah, but you know what? You got this really nice compliment from somebody, or somebody baked something for you, and here's a picture of the cake, and things like that. And that made me really happy, and I'm really happy I had this as a goal and that I have accomplished it. I also had completed my Italian course that I did in the first half of 2025, but I realized that I love Spanish so much more. Also, after being in Italy, I just can feel like I belong to Spain. So I started the first beginner course in Bubble, A1.1 with like 40 lessons, and I did it from I think July until November and finished it. And that's something I definitely want to continue, especially because we have a colleague at work who's from Chile, and I practice every time I've learned something new. Currently, I've learned like saying if you're married or single or divorced. So I'm just practicing that on him and saying, okay, this person is divorced. And I can see that this works much better for me than like I'm going to a course once a week setting. I learn differently than I feel a lot of pressure being like in this group settings, and realizing that the online course and then using what I have learned on somebody at work, that's the system that works for me. So I'm definitely going to continue that, because I've thought about going to a Spanish course, but I think no, I think we continue with Bubble. I also had planned to implement the Fly Lady system, which is kind of like a cleaning system. It is very extensive, and I realized that I didn't need all of it, but some things really worked for me. So in the end, first I really tried to implement 12 of the baby steps. I think they have like 30 or 31. And then in retrospect, I saw, okay, for example, zone cleaning doesn't work for me. So I'm like, okay, we just leave it. We do something else that works for me. And that's maybe also something to start with a goal and then adjusting it, or like with my Italian goal to say, this is actually not the language I want to learn. We do Spanish instead, and pivoting. I also had a goal of saving 50,000 Norwegian krona, and that was actually easier because I was injured, because I just didn't spend a lot of money. I didn't travel as much as planned, and it was definitely easy to reach that. I think I already reached that in June or so. So there was something positive of being injured. There were several goals that I didn't complete. One is I have reduced my body fat percentage to 30, I think it was 30% that I had like as a goal. And I was down to 33, and then it went up again. And I don't think I want to have a body fat percentage goal again. I think I will do it a bit different next, like now in 2026. But I would say I have made major progress still. There are a lot of like habits that are kind of like in place that work even if I'm not so well. And I have learned a bit more about that. When you're highly sensitive and hypermobile, there are certain things that are more important than maybe the usual guidelines that you get. I have just started with it, but I definitely want to do a specific video about it, because I felt like it was something that changed definitely how I'm seeing weight loss, and I think we were going to talk about it later on one point. Then I had 2 injury goals, like healing my knee injury and my elbow injury, and they take time. I said they are almost, I would say I'm 95% at both of them. So it's almost okay again. I just have to be a bit more careful. It's hard to put a time frame on them. You say like, for example, tennis elbow, it takes around 8 weeks. We are now around 8 weeks. So that worked. And like the knee up to 6 months, it's also kind of like around that. Then I had a goal of finding a boyfriend, and I have to say it's hard to find somebody when you're at home. So that was definitely not possible. But I feel like I have learned a lot about myself and learning traits and skills that make me a more securely attached person, and with that also like a more better potential partner. I've learned a lot in this regard, and I have gotten help from ChatGPT that was super helpful to understand certain behavior of people, understanding my own limiting beliefs and things that I can work on, and also seeing where I made major progress. And yeah, I didn't accomplish it, but I do not feel so sad about it. And then I also had a goal of finding my own clothing style. I said it wasn't accomplished because this is a really tricky goal, because when can you say that you have accomplished it? Like, I'm not a fashionista, so I didn't reach that, but I definitely changed what kind of clothes I bought. I'm way more into having really nice outfit when I go to work. I've found my color palette, and I have kind of like decluttered clothes that don't fit or that don't fit that color palette. So I think I have made a lot of progress in it. I don't feel like I have accomplished it, but I also don't feel like I have to continue with it next year. So this is how 2025 went. Definitely not how I had planned to. I really hope that 2026 has less injuries and more fun and more social interactions. That's my hope for 2026. And but I'm really positive. I think have grown so much and learned so much, and you know what? It's hard to have injuries and being limited for a very long time, and also having injuries that not everybody sees that you have some. But I also see that I still can walk. I'm grateful for my body. There are people here who are not able to do that. I don't want to minimize the hardship I went through, but I feel very grateful for the people that I have in my life, for my family, for having a stable job and being able to live in Norway, having a very reliable healthcare system that also has its challenges, and feeling like I have my place in this community, and feeling very grateful for that, and so looking forward to 2026, and happy that you're gonna join me again for another year on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching all these videos. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope we're gonna see each other a bit more next weeks, and yeah, thank you that you're here, and I hope your 2026 will be as amazing as I hope mine will be. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye bye.